Good morning. We're getting started. Give me a minute. I'm almost there. And we'll get going with this silly little map tour. Let's taste the cam quick. Check on my camera. Ah! So big! Alright. Oh, welcome in, everybody. How's it going? That's not what I want. I want that. Welcome in, everybody. How's it going? Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming in. We're gonna get started, I guess. Where's the video capture? Capture card device. That's all. Media source. There it is. There we go. We're gonna resize that real quick. Put it behind. This is how you do layering. Sorry, slight delay. So we're going to get going this morning. We have a couple of maps to tour on this morning. And the idea here is, you know, I think every map we've been getting so far, or not every, most maps we've been getting so far, is stuff we've seen before. Almost all the maps that are on Mod Hub right now, not every single one, but almost all of them, are repeats of either maps that are being converted from 22 or maps that we've seen before in some other fashion, whether they're from earlier versions of the game or later versions of the game or whatever. It does, to me, it doesn't matter. A lot of what I look for, and maybe this is just me, but a lot of what I look for is something unique, something new, something different, something that doesn't do the same thing. And I've kind of got a list in my head, and we'll talk about that today, of like what that really means. And I think we'll start off our little tour with something that's we're gonna start off with something that is as close to like vanilla as possible. And we'll talk about what that means and more of like a why would I not play this map? Instead of looking at why I would play a map, like why wouldn't I play a map? What's missing? What are the things that I look for personally that this one doesn't meet those needs or those desires or requests or whatever, and then we'll kind of get into it. But welcome in, everybody. Thanks for being here. I see Bruce Gaming, Ultimate Sim Gamer, Model Houseman, SMB Modding, and Dale Rogers all jumping in really early in the morning, but welcome. Thanks for being here. And let's get into the game. Now, I don't know what I'm loading for mods. I don't really care. But we're going to go in and jump in and get this loaded. It seems to be out of whack right now. Why is that out of whack? This. Oh, there's something in front of it. What is this? Oh, I think that's the wheel cam. I'm trying to resize this thing. I'm going to be here all day. I'm just going to leave it there and turn it off because I don't need it. And then this, for some reason, is scrolling in a weird way. Oh, I know why. Hold on. Start. We'll fix it for the next one. No, we won't. That looks crap. Sorry about that, folks. The settings are just a little bit off. My resolution settings were wrong. So how's everyone doing today? Thank you for being here. I haven't done one of these in a little while, mainly because I haven't wanted to. And this is being weird too. You see that? You see how like the start bar is not in the right place? The hell? Move. Yeah, give me 1 second. Something's wrong with the capture device. There we go. Sorry about that. There's something going on with my video settings. And I had to restart the capture device, which can't cancel the sound too. It's back now. Now everything should be aligned and working properly. There we go. All right. That looks correct. All right. Let's go. Let's finally get into it. So this one is... how do I say this? when I think about it, this is just me, and maybe you think this way too, and let me know if that's the way you think. But when I think about it, there's a box, and some map makers live inside this box, and some of them do everything they can to live outside that box. And so we've got like a peninsula type map, which looks pretty cool. And we've got some places where the author is living outside that box, and some places where they're living inside this box. So it looks like they've taken most of the assets from Zelonka, which is okay. Nothing wrong with that. We've got a little start farm here. We've got gates that open, and we've got building names that I can't read, but they're all from Zelonka, right? Got roads from Zelonka with sidewalks from Zelonka. Good morning, Ethics. Welcome in. We've got some buildings and whatnot, and yay. And we've even got a farm silo. Right? Great. Fantastic. Got some starting equipment. I like how they actually colored the trailer here. No one else does that. That's the color that I would use. And even some cool, like, visual equipment. Like slurry things and a bale storage. And a nice little starting farm with animals. Bale and pallet storage, a sheep barn, specialized manure heap extension, and even a farmhouse. That obviously, because it's giants, you can't go in. Whatever. When we start off on this map, which, you know, overall is kind of... I like the PDA, for sure. We start off on this map. Looks like we even have a train. We start off with a good set of equipment, so they actually thought about doing equipment. It's not a big set of equipment. We're starting off with a Kloss tractor and a Massey Ferguson harvester and a Dutesvar. So we got 2 tractors. Great. Where I think this map misses, and one of the reasons, the first reason, number one, that I would not play it, is the rest of the PDA. And so this is something that's happening a lot with new maps, and this is because I don't think the map authors fully understand it. And what I mean by that is, if we look here, this person is allowing me to buy Farmland 67. This perfectly square piece of land. Not this land that goes all the way out to the coast. Just this perfectly square block of land. This one, a little bit less square, but still a blocky piece of land, right? If we visit it, it's this, like, forested area with trees you cut down that rolls down into the water. We have water. Yay. The land isn't perfectly flat. Kind of nice little rolling hills here, but none of these, almost none, not all, but almost none of these trees are forestable. Like, there's one right there. You probably get these birch trees, but a lot of them are these big, huge, like oak and Japanese, so whatever they're called, you know, maple, all this kind of trees, like, not really forestable trees. These are like shreddable trees that you're eventually just going to get rid of, right? But like this 67 plot right here, you buy this perfectly square plot of land. But if I walk out here, I'm out here and I feel like I'm in the same plot of land, right? But if we look at our map, we're not in the same plot of land. So there's this whole parts of the land you can't get to and you can't play. And that's one of my number one things that I can't stand about certain mod maps, is that I can understand making decorative areas, like this area right here, not sellable. Like, you can't buy it. I can understand that 100%. Right? Because it's decoration. It's not meant to be sold or bought or whatever. But like this open area of grass, like I can make a field here. Totally. But if you look at the map, nothing. There's no way to buy this land. The open land everywhere, not the town, But the open land should be buyable. You should always be able to buy the open land. Now, in some places, they've made the open land buyable, like 63. They've made parts of it buyable, but again, we're missing pieces. And then the other big thing, and this is one of those things that's on my list, and I put a list in the description of the things that I look for, and one of those things is the ability to merge fields. So if we zoom in, this field 15, farmland 15, contains just the field. Farmland 14 contains just the field. The middle, you can't buy. So unless you like the field layouts, you're stuck with it. It doesn't matter whether you like them or not. You're stuck with them. And so if we come in here and we turn on flight mode, hit J to jump up, Q to fly, we can see what we've got here. We've got a nice little town. Not a bad little town. We've got a road that actually has some like undulation and curves to it. They did a good job with the lines. You can see the seams in the road a little bit, but not too bad. They did a pretty good job hiding it. This is that starting farm we started out at. And even talking about the starting farm, we look at the starting farm, which is really hard to actually click on it because there's a farmland ID number here, but you own this land, I think, but there's no number to click on. So I don't know if I own this field here, so we'll have to test it. Oh, it's stuck inside the building. But there's a lot of these like big open lands like this. You own the grass part, but you can't own all the way up to the river, which doesn't make sense to me. And this forest area, this whole forest area down here and right here, you can't own. You can own a very square piece of it up here for farmland 70, but that's it. Now, don't get me wrong, they did some pretty good job with the decoration. They've got nice roads. They've got, you know, logistic stuff like this sleuth that's coming from what looks like a mine, and I would assume this is some kind of stone processing plant or something, or no, this is a sleuth to power a water wheel, which doesn't exist, which is weird, for a grain mill. And these are all assets from other parts of the game. Like this is the container ships from what's it called? Hutian Pantai. The decoration in this area is nice. If you look at it, it's very nice. They did a good job with the decoration. They actually decorated pretty well. It looks legit. And they did a good job using the rocks from Hutian Pantai and decorating and making like cliff face rocks. They did a really good job with that. They did a really awesome job with the train tracks. All kinds of fancy, weird merges and stuff for the train tracks. Come over here, a train bridge and a car bridge, which is nice. Going into nothing. I would have liked to see tunnels over here, but whatever. And overall, the map is vanilla. It's very, very vanilla. And what I mean by that is it's not perfectly flat, but it's also not very hilly. It's a very vanilla map. So if you like vanilla maps, this one might be good for you. But if you like merging fields, don't even bother, because you can't merge these fields. And that's a huge miss from my perspective. Like, you should be able to always merge fields. But that's it. This is Hermanns Hausen or something like that. You know, I'm not even gonna bother testing whether the extra areas are mobile. It doesn't matter to me. I would never play this map. It does have a nice look to it. I like they chose the Massey versus choosing the other Massey. They chose the hillside Massey versus the other Massey, which is nice difference, but the entire map is just grass for decoration where the fields are. There's no bushes, there's nothing. It's just kind of bland. So that's Hermanns Hausen, I think. And we'll move on to the next one. And if there's anything you guys want me to check on these maps, please let me know. I'm doing this for you guys. So if you something you want to see or something you want me to test, let me know. Hello, Steam. Come on. Munchies Plays. J Meister, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming in. I hope you guys are having a great day. I should not have quit out of Farm Sim. I should have just quit normally. Because now I have to wait for this silliness. Let's turn the cam on. There we go. The next map we had on our list. Let's do them in order, alphabetical order. Let's do Campo. So this is called Campo Belo. This is one of those maps that a lot of people will just fail at being able to play. And not because of anything major, but because the map is zipped with some extra mods that go along with the map initially. And so a lot of people will just not be able to deal with that. They won't understand it. They'll be like, why is this map loading? You gotta unzip the map, dude. You gotta put the mods that are inside the zip file, inside the folder, inside the zip file, in your mod folder. Now this one has a ridiculous number of errors. It is definitely not ready for prime time. But it's interesting and playable. Now, one thing, I don't know if you saw that start screen. The start screen shows one thing, but the map shows kind of a different thing. So I'm not going to leave the HUD up for too long, but as you can see, we have some customized buildings. Now, a lot of these buildings are old, very old FS19 textured buildings. They're, yeah, not great. Some of them are newer, like some of them are newer, but some of them are pretty old. A lot of the buildings and stuff like that are old. Munchies. It depends on which map. I have checked out 2 or 3 new maps from the Shanty Boys. I did reach out to Matt this morning. I am technically a member of the Shanty Boys. I've helped them out with a few maps over time, and I help them test their maps whenever possible. I did reach out to Matt this morning to ask if I could check out his new map, Maisie Lou Farms or something like that. But I did not hear back from him before the stream. That was my fault for not reaching out to him soon enough, or early enough. But yeah. Let's put that right there. All right. But I haven't checked those out, so no. But I'm looking forward to checking them out. I know that they've been working hard on new maps, and I'm mostly a fan of the Shanty Boys maps. I think that they put out some great maps, and I can't wait to see what they actually get onto all platforms, because they have a way with maps, and I think some of their maps, even though they're simple, a lot of people would like. So anyways, this is your typical South American map, and of course, based on the fact that it's a South American map, they do silly things like this, putting billboards in for somebody's YouTube channel that, you know, there's no way in hell ModHub is ever going to accept that. So I don't know why they do those kind of things. They basically make it unsellable, undeliverable, whatever. But yeah, got some cool looking buildings. This looks like a cool building, though this building feels like it feels less than realistic, because like this building is just sheet metal with no supporting structure. It would never stand up like that. But they do some decoration. We do have NPCs. They're just standing here for no reason. They're just standing there. They don't look at you, which is good because just like Walter and stuff like that. But we got some like decorative NPCs. Some of them are just there. They don't move at all. Some of them are real NPCs. That's pretty cool. Got some gates and stuff like that that need to be opened. But yeah, this is the town, and this is your dealership. One thing about this dealership that I'll point out is they have a 7R, right? And they have this, right? This auger wagon thing, which isn't a real thing. I wish it was. Like, why don't we have this in the game? He's got a model for it right here. Make it real. Come on, dude. But this is your store, and of course Walter, or not Walter, what's this guy's name? Whatever. Creepy man. I can't talk to him though.
Look who we have here.
Oh, shut up, Ben. And as we looked at the map, you can see, here's the map. Let's look at the map at a high level. We've been walking around the town. This is little teeny town area right here. And the reason it's a little teeny tiny is this is actually a 4x map. One thing that stands out to me for this map is the fact that it's 4x, is the fact that almost everything is buyable. Now, they went with the kind of grid and block buying your farmland methodology, very much like New Frontier. But from what I can tell, you can buy the entire map. It's just sometimes weird, like this. Like this is not how the game works. You can't have two crop fields, like two different crops, in the same farmland. Contracts and stuff like that would never work. Same thing here. Two crops, two crop fields, one farmland. Won't work. That's just, the game doesn't allow it anymore. But it is a pretty good open area. And of course, this land is pretty expensive, being that they're large plots of land and they're different sizes and different shapes and stuff like that. And then your starting land here near downtown, you can't, they just did a circle essentially around the town. You can't buy the town, and you can't buy some of the areas in and around the town, but yeah, so I would have fixed that. That's fine. One other thing I will note about this map, which is cool, and we'll go into flight mode and we'll look at it, is that it's kind of a wilderness map. So the first time we've seen a South American wilderness map. Sorry. One cool thing is it is a wilderness map, so it feels a little bit like New Lands. I don't know if you guys remember New Lands with the sparse trees, but if you look, they're kind of in rows, which is kind of annoying. I can't stand when I see trees in rows. But this is all mowable grass. I mean, if we look at the map, it's grass. See, it's grass. And not only that, it's grass that has the actual grass crop that's been customized. You see all the height differences on the grass. And not only that, it's the brownish grass. So I don't know if all the grass is going to be always brown or if it's just brown right now. We'll see. Got an animal dealer here with actual live animals, which is great to see. Sorry, hold on, there's something in my eye. And we got this little kind of, I don't know, what do you want to call this? A town area with a couple extra houses and NPCs and decorations. And all these buildings are not base game buildings. They're all South American buildings. They're probably taken from other maps. But honestly, I think it looks kind of cool. I love the rolling hills nature of the land around this. I love the fact that all the land is buyable. We got a big forestry area up here. Where are we? Plot 3 and 1, 2, and 3, or 2 and 3 look like forestry areas. And then we've got this big road that runs the length of the map, and I'll fly down the whole road, that has a lot of trees around the road, but then once you get away from the road, it's very sparse. And you can see that from the overhead view in the PDA as we fly through. But near the road, lots of trees and there's a good mix of like deciduous trees and some farmable trees or forestable trees. But as you can see here, we are still getting errors. So that error that popped up, I'll try to hide it. We're getting errors like that somewhat frequently on this map. A lot of them are texture related. A lot of them are just configuration related, stuff that should be relatively easy to fix. But from the most part, the map's playable. And then we come over here and we're towards the end of the road. Big hill. We have a sell point down here. We have nice outer border areas. It kind of makes you feel like you're in a valley, which is cool. We've got a nice little river here. It runs from on the map, runs through the map. This forestry area feels a little forced because it's a perfect square, but that's just me. But if you like grass and you like grass work and you want to basically take something that's, you know, unfinished and turn it into something crazy, there's plenty of pre-built roads. I do like that they have the red dirt, and not only do they have the red dirt, but they also have custom red dirt road textures, which is really nice. And then the last part, I think, is right here. Yes, and then there's two fields here. One of them, when I first toured this map, was peas. Hey, Farmer Mike, Uncle Ben. Now it's red beets. And then this one is nothing because you can't have two fields in one farmland. But as you can see, we have a red dirt type farmyard ground. So all the ground underneath this grass is all going to be red dirt. So it's interesting. It's nice. It's a big, wide open map that has a good amount of potential. Lots of rolling hills. I do like the rolling hills. You can kind of see the rolling nature of the hills as I have to kind of climb this hill. But it's not built to FS22 specs. So there's one farm on the up in the main town, and then this is one of the other farms you can buy. And it's a simple South American style farm with a silo, a shed, a house, some open silos. One of them has a workshop. I believe this one's a workshop once you buy it, and a water tower. Very simple. And you're able to do stuff with it. There's contracts. So we have fertilizing, wood transport, deadwood contracts on here, which is cool. But also remember, this is a 4X map. It is pretty big. Pretty big. Oh, thank you, Farmer Mike. That's really awesome of you. Thank you so much for the donation in Danish krone, I believe. Thank you so much. But yeah, that's it. This is Campo, what's it called? Campo Bella or something like that. But overall, I think this is a cool map. It's got some interesting features to it. If you're looking for a South American kind of wide open, kind of do everything kind of map, then you know, please let me know. Please check it out. I mean, it's pretty cool. It's on the, you know, less than awesome sites right now, but it is what it is. It's pretty cool. I like the out of the box thinking. I do like the fact they customize the grass, which is something that you can't really do yet with normal everyday maps. The next one we're going to look at is, we're not going to look, we already looked at that one. don't know why that's still in my mod folder. We're gonna look at something called the Haute Daubes Forest, or La Forest, the Haute Daube, or something like that. It's a French map, but it's a French forestry map, which I haven't ever seen a French forestry map. Every French map I've seen so far has been farming, and they're almost always like big, huge field farming. And so seeing a forestry map that's a French forestry map is a little interesting, right? It's different. There's a couple things in here that I'll call out as different, but essentially where it's a forestry map. So where you start off kind of in the middle of the map, right around field 55. You start off in town, kind of, and you start off right along the river, and you're in this, like, I don't know what to call it, like a vacation spot or something. You've got a barge here, like a barge restaurant. You've got some houseboats. You've got pretty good usage of the sand texture, which is relatively new. You've got a ferry, which is cool. A lot of people are trying to incorporate the ferry because they think it's cool. I don't have any problems with it, but it's just a ferry. So you've got some interesting decoration in this whole town area. I kind of think is well done. They've taken the time to decorate. There's a lot of decorative stuff around. A lot of decorative buildings. I also like that it's kind of multi-leveled like this. Building multi-leveled and making it look good is not easy. All these houses are built on a hill, and they all look legit, right? Especially with the trees and stuff growing around them. I like that. And then you've got this really cool hill here, or rather river here, right up along the forestry, and you're quickly into forestry land. From what I can tell from looking at the overview of this map, all of the map is buyable. Most of the map chunks follow the land. There's a few places like the town area you can't buy, but all of the forestry areas are buyable. And they don't make you buy the big rock faces or whatever, so that's pretty cool too. But you've got these big tracts of forestry, and something like this, you know, this is one of those things where if you buy it for $373, you're gonna make back $1 million on that. So it's pretty cool. There is some challenge getting around this map due to the kind of tight roads and the steep hills. We do have a gas station, which I think is actually decorated from a ground textures perspective. Really nice. It does feel like a gas station in the middle of nowhere. The only downside is that this is a French map, and you're showing a Czech gas station. So that doesn't really fit. I would have tried to pull a gas station from Haut-Belleron, and we also have NPCs just standing around waiting for you to buy stuff. Is this a shop? Yeah, this is the vehicle shop, I guess. So they're just standing around. Which is kind of cool. So I'm assuming that's the vehicle shop, and that your spawn area for the vehicle shop is right here in front. Actually, we can test it real quick. Yep, spawn area is right in front of the shop. It's this big long line right in front of the shop. It'll go from here to the gas station. No big deal. We don't actually want to drive around this map because that would take forever. We're going to go into flight mode and look at the rest of the map. And so I'm actually going to go up immediately. I'm going to go up to the top left corner of the map, up to farmland and field ID 1. So we're going to start at the northwest corner of the map, which is going to be a 0, 0. All right, so you can see actually if you're flying, you can go right off the map. And I think I'm stuck off the map right now. There we go. So there are borders you can't get over without doing it on purpose like I just did. There is some farmland up here, and it's not necessarily flat farmland. It's got some contours to it. It's got some hills to it, which is nice. And there is some preset farms and farmland. So if you want to do farming and then expand on the whole map, you can start with these fields and move forward. The fields are mergeable, which is cool. So you can see when you buy farmland 1, you buy the farmland, you also buy the trees around it. You go to click on 2, you buy right up to that same border. So if you wanted to merge these fields, you totally should be able to. I think you can't buy these roads, which is fine, the major roads, but the minor roads, like the dirt roads, you could totally merge across. And then your main farm is right here. This is your main farm. This is your starting farm, which is a very, very small, very tight, very tree-lined farm. If we turn off our flight mode for a second, this is how you start. A silo, an open shed, closed shed. You've got equipment, you've got supplies, you've got some forestry stuff, sort of, and you've got the Hobeler-owned farmhouse, which is this the Hobeler? Yeah, this is the Hobeler-owned farmhouse, because inside here is the video game station. So this is the Hobeler-owned farmhouse. It's like the only French farmhouse. But, you know, overall, if you want to do some farming, you can start off here. And then if you want to get into forestry, you've got an entire map of forestable trees. Some crazy, crazy crazy amount of trees. There's a lot of trees on here. And that's, you know, that's great if that's what you're looking for. There are dirt roads in and around here, like kind of like that. Some of them are dirt, some of them are mud. You've got dirt roads like here, which have the kind of reusable dirt texture that Giants has given us, and some of them are muddy roads like this. They're not perfectly straight, they're not perfectly flat, which is one of those things that I look for. I just heard a chainsaw. That's kind of cool. So someone else is out there cutting wood. You've got this big mill complex thing here, which is what? What is this? There is a person here. David's here. It's a grain mill and a cement factory in one. Cool. And a trading shop. So you got a couple of sell points here, a couple buy points, a couple production areas. That's pretty good. We look at our production list. We do have contracts. And we do have available productions. We have even the wagon builders here. Look at that. And the water-powered paper factory. One cool thing that's here that I've never seen before. That looks like they have the these pine trees. This is the Manchurian red pine and the lodgepole pine. Or this is deadwood, but the lodgepole pine. So combination of the Manchurian red one and the dead one. The one cool thing I haven't seen this anywhere else. Is this on a farm sim map? Is this on one of the maps and I just don't know about it? There's a dam here. Damn. It looks like a Giant's asset because it's got water running out of it like this, but I don't remember which map this is on, if it's on any map. But it looks really cool, and I'm now trying to think of, okay, how can I incorporate a dam into one of my maps? Because, damn, this looks good. Sorry, I had to. And then you've got the dredge here. And you've got the stone heap spawner, which is actually spawning stone in this little area here, which is kind of cool. And then the rest of the map is just forestry. You've got the wagon builder kind of out in the middle of nowhere. You've got this up here. What is the hell? And I like how the productions are spread out. They're not all in one place. They're kind of this is the paper factory. They're not just all in one little brick. I like how they're spread out. I like how it would take some time to drive to and from those places. I like how they've incorporated the river. There is 2 ways to get across the river. One is to drive across the top of the dam. The other way is to drive across this bridge down here. down here. And so this bridge is, I believe, a Giant's asset. I don't know where from, but big, long wooden bridge. I like they included the bell things in the middle of the river. That's kind of cool. It helps. And the outside borderlands appear to be from Riverbend Springs. But overall, cool. If you like forestry, you get plenty of forestry to do. It's definitely hilly forestry. Very, very hilly forestry. And you've got productions scattered around the map. It's cool. I like it. It's very strange to see a French map, or a map that's supposedly French, with so much forestry. But yeah, no quarry. Not a quarry that I've seen. Yeah, no quarry. The closest you're going to get is down here. There's a cement factory. Closest to a quarry you're going to get is a cement factory right here. And the dredge down here, which has the stone spawner. So you do have an unlimited supply of stone, but no quarry. Not a bad map. Not a bad map. It's different, but still the same in some small way. And while the outside areas do look a little bit like other maps, they at the same time they don't. I feel like this looks like the outside border for Riverbend Springs, but at the same time it doesn't look like Riverbend Springs. It looks different, like they've either modified it or made it their own in some way. Some of it looks the same, some of it doesn't. Pretty cool. I like it. It's a little bit different, and if you're looking for forestry, it could be unique. Where's the quit button? There. If you change the model of the barge to a C-17 with a bale and pallet storage fitted inside, place it on a spline in the air, and have the ground to pass us through a train cell point, we can have a crazy airlifting. Mick, that sounds really crazy. That does sound really crazy. Yeah, especially if you could have like a spline that comes, like when you have the air, it flies in, it comes down, it lands, it parks for a couple hours, and then it flies away, so that that cell point was only available in certain times. That would be extra cool. But anyways, that was the forest of something or other, which is pretty cool. The Ho-Dobes Forest. And I think they did a great job with decoration. I hope this one actually makes it to mod up. That one looks like one that a lot of people could enjoy. Lindlar is still in development. It's not ready for prime time yet, but it's getting there. Mapitoba I only have on here because I fixed the grass so that it's all mowable. And then the last one we have for today, I know I'm cruising through this, but you know, there's not a lot to go with, right? Is, what is this called? Sickinger Ho Rhineland, I don't know, something. Sickinger. I'm gonna call it Sickinger. This is the Sickinger map, and this one is the most unique out of all of them, which is weird because we had quite a few unique, very unique ones. We do have some errors that are coming up in the log. Most of them are just warnings. Most of them are just, you know, yada yada, whatever. But they are... Yeah, and I'm not paused. I was just faking that for effect. It's a big map, and there's also a couple errors with the farmlands and fields. You know, this, I've seen two versions of this map so far. I saw like 0.87 and 1.0. This is supposedly 1.0, but in my mind, a 1.0 doesn't get released with errors. Like, you're not going to release a 1.0 until you have no errors. So this is a big map. It's a full 4X map. And they used every bit of it, as you can see from the farmlands. There actually are 256 fields, 256 farmlands. The one downside of this map, and I will call this out at the beginning, is you can't buy the whole map. And that's probably my biggest downside. There are big sections like over here, over here, over here. Like these big forestry areas. If you look around, all of these forestry areas, none of them are buyable. Which is a really... Like, you could have combined a couple of these fields and made the forestry areas buyable. It's kind of a bummer. And then you also get a lot of this happening where if I'm clicking on this farmland and I'm just getting the farmland. I'm not getting anything else. So the other big downside this map has is that some of these fields are going to be mergeable, but not all of them. So there are a few like here, like 76 and 74. You wouldn't be able to merge 76 and 74 if I zoom way in. Yeah, there's a gap. There's a few pixels. Yeah, and so it does look like they used the field toolkit for the farmlands and they didn't adjust them. And that's fine, basically making the fields and the farmlands the same. But it is what it is. They're making a map off of a real life area, which is cool. And I give them credit for that because that's not easy. And you can tell even from the like satellite photo, like he missed a bunch of fields over here. He missed a couple of fields here. These fields are not exact. Like, it's not perfect. But it looks like they did their best job. But let's just look. So you start off, I'm going to close this for a second. You start off in a lookout tower, which I love. I love when they do that. You start off in a way that you can see everything. I think that's cool. And you can see from this how much undulation there is in the land. All right, there's just it's a lot. If we jump down, you can see it even more when you get down. Like this field, like a lot of these fields would be really hard to harvest. Red beets on a field that's this steep. Soybeans, like, so this is a soybean field. Like, getting a harvester on a field that's this steep, like, you got to really be careful about your harvester. You ain't driving up and down this field at all. That's just too steep. But a lot of these fields, like, if you look at the angle of the land, it's insane. And so I think this would be a very challenging map from a farming perspective, just because of the steepness of the hills. But I think that it's part of this map, really. We've got a pretty good roads in a town area. They've really built the buildings into the hills pretty effectively. I don't know where these buildings come from. I think they're from Sri. Okay, fine, just run into me, see if I care. I think they're from Sri Lanka, but yeah, and they're decorated pretty well. There is a good amount of decoration around town. Not a lot, but even just bushes and flowers and stuff like that. For the most part, this is just deco, right? But overall, it feels like a town. It does feel like a town you can drive through or walk through or what have you. It does feel real. Now, we do have some billboards that are kind of weird. I guess this guy likes hockey. We have David. What do you want, dude? And then we have the main farm. Is this the main farm? Yes. So this is the main farm. And I'm inside the barn with all of the equipment inside the main farm. So we're at Kloss Tractor and Massey Ferguson and cows. But one thing we're noticing as we move around this farm, it's not flat. I love that. So many people, so many map makers assume that everyone wants their farmyard to be perfectly pancake flat. And while, yes, if you're decorating in-game, that does make it easy. I understand. But if you're decorating in GE, the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want. And I love the fact that this farm is a multi-level farm. We've got a good amount of equipment. that shed is empty. We've got bunker silos. We've got fertilizer, lime, and seeds. Bale storage. Big silo. With some weights just sitting there. Cultivator, seeder, what have you. 3 tractors. Even got a weeder. And a full set of mowers. Like, we got everything. So you got everything you need to start on this farm and get going. Speaking of starting farm, this grass field outside the farm is buyable, or is owned. So let's open our map, see where I am. So if we come over here, behind the farm, right through these trees, is a big grass field. And again, this is a 4x map. So this is, even though the grass field doesn't look that big on the map, it's a big grass field. You're going to get hundreds, like 100 bales or more off this grass field. But it's a steep grass field, so it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to harvest. But you do have a little teeny tiny loading wagon. We can easily replace that with a VPW version. And here's the one thing that I don't like about this map. Or not one. This is one of the things I don't like about this map. They have used these purple flowers along the field edges. Everywhere. On the entire map. So there's this, like, I don't know what you want to call it. Kind of like a hedge of purple flowers around in between every field. And in all honesty, like, they have meadow. They have meadow on the map. They have grass. So they're using a edited version of the Zelonka meadow. This is the Zelonka meadow without any flowers in it, basically. And they have grass, which looks the same as base game. But then they have these weird purple flowers, hedges, everywhere. And personally, not really a fan. Mick, I'll check the parallax windows in a second. They have nice roads. They're very, very sharp-edged. They're not using the nicer roads, but they're roads, and they're nicely curved, and they follow contours and yada, yada, yada. The lines are overly bright. I wish that map makers would tone down the lines. This looks like your vehicle dealership. We buy our Rigitrack like we always do. Buy, yes. Okay. The Rigitrack shows up here, way over here. And so if we get in, that's going to be the spawn area, I think, for the vehicles, all from here all the way over to that dealership. I'm assuming most of these things are going to be from, yeah, they've all got the parallax windows. These are all from, all the buildings are from Zelonka. But they did a good job making it not look like Zelonka, honestly. Yeah, these are all the parallax windows. Yeah, so you can tell. From a distance, they look good. Close up, not so good, but still not bad. But yeah, this is the town area. It's pretty crazy. They do have a sidewalk running through almost the entire town, which looks nice. I have a feeling I know what script they're using to generate this sidewalk and road. But let's turn on flight mode. And get up in the sky. And we can see what this map really is. All right, so here's your town. This is the vehicle dealership. And then you've got this town area. The town area is pretty detailed, pretty complex. Lots and lots of trees, but little plots of land. I believe this is trying to mimic a real town that really exists. And I think they've done a good job. Looks like there's a animal dealer up here. I think this is animal dealer. Slurry and manure buy points. Looks like a bale sell point. Another farm over here. There's like 4 or 5 farms on this map. There's another farm over here. Again, not flat, fitting in with the land. And then you get these crazy, very, very steep, undulating fields. And then you get over here. But we shouldn't even bother going over here in the farmland, the tree areas, because you can't buy any of the forestry areas. Any of the areas that have trees, they're all not viable. Which is, I guess, the intention of this map, but it is what it is. I like these roads that come along the ridge line, which I'm assuming is real to the terrain that they're getting it from, and then the fields falling off from the roads. While I think that a lot of this stuff would be a fairly tough to actually farm or harvest, it'll be a challenge. But maybe this is what you're looking for. Maybe you're looking for this challenge. A lot of the fields have odd shapes. This one is one that is one of the ones that I highlight usually as something like I don't understand. Like this grass area, you can't buy the grass, you can't mow the grass, you can't get the grass, you can't do anything with the grass. You just have a field that's shaped like this no matter what. Just kind of a bummer. We have a lumber yard, which is nice and open, but still fairly decorated. I think that's good. And we've got some crazy fields. Like, look at this field. It's all limed, ready to go. But yeah, that's a crazy, large, and fairly big field. But I like these ridgeline fields with the dirt roads. And again, these little purple hedges, I guess the best way you can call it, along the edges of every field and denoting the spacing between fields. So if you don't like those purple hedges, too bad, because they're there and they don't go away. I think you can mulch them, but that'll be a hell of a lot of work to mulch them all. We're over here. If we look where we are on the map, we're down kind of in the middle of the map. This is another kind of city area where there's lots of decorative houses, lots of buildings, lots of not even NPC houses, just a little town. So they did put a significant amount of effort into decorating this map, making it look good. Hey, Farm Sim Freak, welcome in. And then we've got a mill here, and then we've got another player farm. This player farm is probably the most flat out of all of them. It's not flat, but it feels the most flat. But it's also very vanilla. It's not decorated very much. You could easily just delete everything here and have a perfectly flat area to do whatever you want with. And then there is a big open flat area right here that you can buy, which is your kind of, I guess, to place your own productions. And then just insane fields, and after insane field after insane field. We're down in the lower right-hand corner of the map right now. Lower left-hand corner of the map, sorry. And like this field right here, I think, what does it have in it? Sunflowers? Like, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think you'd be able to actually get a harvester to harvest this field. I don't think there's a harvester in the game, base game, that you could harvest. For sure, if you get a Colossus with a 10,000 horsepower, I'm sure you'd be able to get up these hills. But any base game harvester? I don't think there's a base game harvester that can climb a 45-degree slope. You know, it's just me. I just don't think that happens. But I believe from the what I understand about this map, or what I'm seeing, is it's based off of a real-life location. So the real-life location does have hills that are this steep and this crazy, and just set up and laid out like this. Here's another place over here where you can just set up your own farm kind of on the edge of the map. This would make a great map for multiplayer just because so many fields, so many farmlands, so much to do. And then, but the big downside for me is that I would love to see all of this stuff in here, all of the forestry areas able to be forested. Like you've got a lumber mill, but you don't have any forestable trees on the map. So why'd you put a lumber mill on the map if you don't have anything that you can cut down? Right? We've got the dairy from Riverbend Springs. Looks like they duplicated it or something. Looks way bigger than it's supposed to be. And again, crazy hilly fields. The one thing they didn't do, which causes this problem right here, see the shadow thing there, is the map maker hasn't done anything with this cloud cover or sky or outside borderlands. And because of that, it generates these weird shadows that affect gameplay greatly. In my mind. And then here's another little town area, another player farm. Again, truly set up for multiplayer. Lots of stuff to do, lots of ways to do it. But that black shadow that's following me around is super annoying. So if you're looking for challenging terrain and you're looking for just endless farming fields on challenging terrain, this might be your map. I mean, there's literally 256 fields. Or 255 fields. I think the highest number I can see on the map is 251. Is that right? Yeah, like right up here. This player farm, I believe, is 251. This one right here is 251. Let's look. I didn't want to do save, but whatever. Farmland. So 251 is this one. 253 is this one. The main farm is part of Farmland 9. 245. Like the really high numbers are these buyable plots of land and farms that they've created around the map. So yeah, 253 is the highest number. And as if you don't know, the limit right now without changing things is 255 plots of land. And the farmland 255 is the unbuyable land as far as Giants is considered, which is where all the forestry stuff lives. You can make that farmland buyable, but it's only buyable in a big chunk. So for this map to actually adjust to make it forestry friendly, they would have to actually go to the next level, and they would have to update it so it would have 512 farmlands, so they can have individual forestry land chunks. But overall, I think it's cool. There's a bunch of different options. There's a bunch of different direction. I think one of the things that I look for is I look for realism, right? I look for, like, if I have a town area, does it look like a legit town area? And I would say, yes, it does. You know, if I have a farmyard, is the farmyard feel real? And this one does. I like the fact that it's not all one level. I like the fact that it's undulating. I like the fact that buildings are not at the same level. You know what I mean? I like that. That to me is interesting. It's different. It gives it some flavor, some je ne sais quoi, I don't know. Just something. There's multiple BGAs on the map. There's one here, which we can see. If we zoom up real high, there's one BGA there. There's another BGA that's over there. And I think there's one more somewhere, but there might just be two. But I don't know. It is what it is. And there's your map. This is the Sickinger map. This is not ready yet. This is still not public. I would imagine the map author might try to send this in. And if so, I hope it does well. It's a crazy map. Would I play it? Maybe. I might play it. But in my mind, I would only like to play it if I could actually get into the forestry. For me, just the farming and the crazy farmyards is not enough. And the freaking purple hedges is beyond me. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. But in all honesty, to edit those purple hedges and turn it into meadow, would take 5 minutes in GE. So if I really, really wanted to play it, again, just like most maps that I look at, I'd have to edit it. But overall, I think it's cool. It's kind of weird. They put a lookout tower in the middle of the map. Like in the middle of a town. That's kind of strange. Let's turn off flight mode. It's kind of weird they put a lookout tower in the middle of a map, but I think it's a good view into what this map entails and what it's got in it. I think it's pretty cool. But that's it for me. I don't have any other maps. I do have some other maps that I'm helping some people test and fix problems with and stuff like that, but none of them are ready for prime time, so to say. So I don't really have any other maps. This is what I got so far. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed the map tour. I will go back and edit this video and put in time codes or whatever for each of the individual maps. If you're looking for to go back and just see just a certain map, feel free. And I will not put links to these because these are all on third-party sites. If I put a link to anything, it's only I'm going to put a link to something that I can link directly back to the original source. And in these cases, I don't know what that original source was. So it is what it is. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for watching. And I hope everyone has a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.